Hello, peeps. This is the Hillbilly Halfwit. How are you all today? I didn't put a video up yesterday because I went off metal detecting on a group dig and I haven't been for ages and I absolutely loved it. And I'll put a video up of what I found if you're interested, but if you're not, don't bother to watch it. Right, what we're talking about today is some really interesting things. Dominic has been doing some long-form interviews on various things. I've listened to one that was over an hour long about a week ago, and there's another one come up now, and he actually says the quiet bit out loud about the civil service, and it's fantastic. He actually says what I've been saying for ages, and you lot need to listen to this video. It's going to be now, I'll just show you a couple of little things first, then the video, and it should open your eyes about how our government works, okay? So if you haven't already, please comment, rate and subscribe. Get down there, smash that subscribe button to help me out to get this stuff shared out there. Right, I have to read this out because old YouTube go a bit weird otherwise. The content in this video is intended for comedic purposes only. The views expressed in this video are not to be taken as factual information or a representation of my personal beliefs. I'm critically reviewing the info and videos I show as examples. Right. If you're watching my stuff, you probably realize this already. Once you understand that they are not journalists and media professionals, but rather actors and operatives, things will start to make sense. Now, when you see this video later, you will think back to this and think, okay. Now these people who are running the country, these charlatans, Environmental Audit Committee, diets, flying, public transport, how can we hit the government's climate targets? Oh, I've said it. In our session yesterday, we heard from Dr. James Richardson about how much behaviour change he believes is, this is the Climate Change Committee believes is needed before 2035. Is behaviour change needed to hit our climate targets? That's predominantly around diets, flying and model shift. These people are running our lives. They want to change us. They want to tell us what to do. They want to stop us eating. They want to stop us flying. They want to change our lives completely, and we've got to fight back against it. Here's Larry Fink. I think his name is Larry Fink from BlackRock. Who's that? Angela Rayner. Who's that in the background? One that was just sacked. Look who's meeting our current Prime Minister. Hey? Now when you see this video now next, you'll see what's going on here. All them people there are unelected except the Prime Minister. It's civil service. Civil service are trying to run our lives and they're not being elected. So listen to this now.
The person in the, so if you think of two roles, right? The Foreign Secretary in Great Britain and the private secretary in the PM's office responsible for foreign affairs, an official whose name has never been in the newspapers. That person was like 10 times more powerful and important than the Secretary of State was. And I think this is something which people just don't really realize. And it's part of like how the whole system has become fake. So you have fake meritocracy, fake responsibility, and then fake cabinet government. So they all walk up Downing Street, the cameras whir, they pose, they smile, ha ha, I'm going into the most powerful meeting, aren't I great? But it's all nonsense. The cabinet is just a kind of stage theatre. And actually officials in the cabinet office have already decided it all. When you sit in Whitehall now, right, in meetings, they are literally scripted. So when the Prime Minister has a meeting with ministers, what happens is that before the Prime Minister has that meeting, officials go into the Prime Minister's study and they give him a folder. And in the folder at the front is a thing called Chairman's Notes. And that's the script. And that's what the Prime Minister reads out. And the conclusions of the meeting in the chairman's notes, drafted before the meeting happens, right? So the Prime Minister says, hello, Secretary of State, blah, 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 and then all these officials sit around the sides on chairs around the edge of the room. And then the MP, the Secretaries of State, all look down at their folders because they've all got their scripts, right? And this is why I use the NPC meme, right? Because then the Prime Minister reads out, well, we're here to discuss blah, blah, blah. And then he goes around the room, and then Secretary of State for Justice or the Foreign Secretary reads out his bullet points, and then he reads out their bullet points. And if anyone goes on script, you see the officials sort of go, and then look over at the other official inside the room and kind of go, that means we'll come back to that after the meeting and make sure that doesn't happen. And then at the end, it was a fascinating, great discussion. Thank you so much for your wonderful, insightful, original contributions. And then he reads out the conclusions which are all drafted in advance. And it sounds like a parody, but it is literally how the British state functions. And the MPs are happy with that, right? Well, how does the psychology of it work? The officials are happy because they have almost all the real power. The cabinet secretary is now 100 times more powerful than any cabinet minister apart from the PM. And the MPs are happy because this whole system pretends that they're in charge. So both sides are basically happy with the fake version.
There we are. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I actually quite like him. And I think he was removed because he was a bit like us. He thinks like us. The people that watch this channel and myself. I know people don't like to accept it sometimes, but you can't always be right all the time. He did make a stupid decision when during COVID, obviously, but you cannot agree on everything. Nobody can agree on everything. But I think on the whole, he realizes this country in the West is being destroyed by people that we don't know. But they all make out we're being run by lots of elected people. And he just said there, basically, none of them make any decisions. Sir Humphrey, and yes, Minister, was spot on. And people do not understand it. They do not understand it. The Prime Minister still has some power, but when you've got a wrong one in there, like we've got now, they just run riot. Now, in America, they call it the deep state. I know a lot of people don't like him. Trump is basically trying to disembowel the deep state, which you hear is the civil service. It's all intertwined, and they have turned into some really bad people that nobody knows. We're all being farmed, and I ought to know, I'm a farmer. So remember, people, you can't agree on everything. We agree on 99% of things, but you can't agree on everything. That doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't talk to another person. Because when I grew up, everybody disagreed on something or other, and you just got on with it. Most of my friends, we disagree on things, but we still get on with each other because that's what life is like. So, hope you like this video. I've watched a really long-form version of Dominic Cummings being interviewed the other day, and it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating, about his time there in one of the Oxford, I think it was Oxford, and you could see in that clip that I just showed there, the people in the front row were astonished that he actually said that quiet bit out loud. So some people hate him. I don't mind him, actually. I think he's like a fox in the hen coop. And in a previous interview that I listened to him, he said that he'd created a thing in Number 10 where all the top tech bods who knew or top of all the parts of these various things, he'd created a new office so they could go, him and the Prime Minister could go and ask these people about things and get a straight answer within a minute or two. And as soon as Keir Starmer took over, the civil service abolished that. And that office was separate from the civil service and an advisory office. And Starmer didn't even know it existed because they abolished it before he got there. Because they don't want other people advising them. So please comment, rate, and subscribe. Love hearing your comments, even if we don't agree on certain things. Like I said, smash that subscribe button. All the best. Guys.